Hello. Diane and I wanted to share another mindfulness meditation with you today. If you didn't get a chance to see Diane's loving kindness meditation that she posted last week, make sure you check that out, and we hope it's helpful to you. So today we are going to focus on mindfulness of the senses. This can be a great way just to help us get centered when we're feeling anxious or worried about something. And we focus on what we're noticing, either what we're seeing, what we're hearing, some aspect of our senses, so that we are brought back from our worry and our anxiety or even things in the past and focusing on right now in the present. So at the end, I'm going to explain a little bit about why it works and what it does. Stick around for that if you're interested. But I thought we could just jump right in with explaining the steps and then practicing it together. So there's 4 different steps to this meditation. It is to stop, to listen, to breathe, and finally to reflect. So when we stop, that is just a way of kind of taking us out of whatever is going on around us and just having the intention to focus right now and get grounded and get ready for the meditation. And then what we call listening is a way to focus on one of our senses. And we are actually today going to focus on what we hear, but it could be what you see or what you smell, what you can feel in terms of sense of touch. And during this time, we also get to practice letting go of the thoughts that come into our mind, and that's a really important piece of this. So you will probably inevitably have thoughts that just wander in, worries that you have, things you think you should be doing. And each time that happens, we just like to remind ourselves just to just let it go, like it's a cloud floating by in the sky, and just bring your attention back to what you're listening for, and just say to yourself, I'm going to let that go, and I'm going to focus on listening. Then we have a time of focusing on our breathing, and that's kind of a way of paying attention to our own body. And during that time, we will be especially concentrating on the exhale and making the exhale as slow as possible. And then just a time of reflecting, trying to observe for ourselves what worked, what didn't work, what we're curious about, what we were feeling. So I'm going to invite you to join with me right now as we go through those 4 steps. So the first is to stop and to get grounded. So if you can sit in a comfortable chair, but try to sit upright and alert, feet flat on the floor. And this is really a time just to feel yourself in the present space. So feel your weight on the chair. Feel your feet attached to the earth, and just kind of where your body is solidly on the earth on this chair right now. And because we are doing a listening exercise, it's fine to close your eyes, or you can just softly focus on something in the room. And then we move into the listening step. So I'm going to invite you, as you're sitting, probably with your eyes closed, to notice what you hear. And maybe just start with any sounds that you hear close around you. And then maybe expand your attention out. Do you hear anything further away from where you are? Maybe in a different part of the house, maybe outside. Can you hear anything even in your own body? And as you're concentrating on this, as thoughts come into your mind, just let them go and gently bring your attention back to what you're hearing. Do you hear anything that's rhythmic? Has a certain rhythm to it? Do you hear anything that you're curious about, that you're not sure what it is? Just a few more minutes to notice the sounds that are around you. Okay, and now we're going to move into breathing. We're just going to take 3 deep breaths, and again, concentrate on the exhaling and try to make that as slow as possible. So we'll take a deep breath in, hold it for just a bit, and then exhale. Another breath, and then try to exhale as slowly as possible. And you can take a 3rd breath on your own and exhale when you're ready. And then just allow yourself a few moments for reflection. What about that was difficult? What was easier? What surprised you? What sounds did you hear that you didn't expect to? What thoughts came into your head that you had to let go of? And then you can go ahead and bring your focus back to the room. So hopefully that was just a small experience of the power of the present moment, because really that's all that mindfulness is. I know it sounds kind of fancy, but it really is to just experience right here and right now. But it is very powerful in that it can break that sense of sometimes panic and anxiety when we start to worry about the future and we're not sure what's going to happen, or when we're thinking about the past. Basically, when you're really focused on your body and what it's feeling right now and what your senses are telling you right now, it's impossible to be caught up in either the past or the future. At Mercy Ministries, we use this a lot with those of us who have experienced early childhood trauma, because that really is an experience of the trauma of the past hijacking the present, and all the ways that we learn to survive as a small child, and the way our nervous system adapted for survival can kind of hijack our present, and we start relating in the present based on what we had to do to survive. And mindfulness really interrupts that. So it's a really powerful exercise. And now that all of us on this planet are experiencing things we never thought we would and experiencing a lot of uncertainty, this can just be helpful for every single one of us. It's also a really great way to show care for ourselves, which is important in a time like this. We can get so wrapped up in worry or thinking about other people that we forget to take care of ourselves. And, we're stuck at home. We've got people at home full-time with us that we're not used to being with full-time. And so this is a way to just take a little break and take care of yourself, which is really important. The exercise of releasing thoughts as they come into your mind is really an important part of the mindfulness experience. Sometimes we want to beat ourselves up and say, why can I not even meditate without all these intrusive thoughts? But really what this is, it's almost like a basketball player practicing jump shots. Like, this is the important work that you're doing. And so learning how to let go of something you can't control and practicing making the choices that you can make is basically what you're doing when you're letting go of those thoughts and just bringing your attention back into the present. And that is just a really important exercise that is going to help us get through this really difficult time. Um, we also know that slow breathing, and especially concentrating on the exhale, activates the parasympathetic nervous system. And that is the part of the nervous system that helps us that regulates the day-to-day functioning of our body. It's the opposite of the nervous system that helps us in an emergency or survival situation. And so whenever we can kind of get ourselves out of that feeling of an emergency, because we are safe in this present moment, and get into the parasympathetic nervous system, that's when our body can concentrate on cell repair. It boosts immunity. Um, that's when our mind is free for new learning, to be curious about things. That's when we are free to experience empathy for other people and for ourselves. So it is really important that we can move ourselves into that part of our nervous system. So finally, I just wanted to let you know, if you find yourself in a place where you're really, really struggling and starting to feel panicky, and just having trouble kind of bringing yourself to a sense of calm, that focusing on the visual can really be helpful. Doing this exercise, but focusing on what you can see. And when I find myself in really feeling like I'm starting to lose it and it's hard to bring myself back to calm, sometimes I just say stop, and what can I find in the room that's blue? And I just try to see as many objects as I can. Or what can I see in the room that has a certain texture, like some things that are rough, or things that are smooth, or things that are shiny. Just really concentrating on that particular sense is is the quickest way to kind of bring yourself back to the present moment. And even though today we concentrated on the sense of listening, if you find yourself just really agitated, you might try that, just focusing on the visual, and can really kind of bring you back the quickest into the present moment. So I really hope that this is helpful. Diane and I really just want to share anything we can that can help us get through this time, and with the sense that we don't know what the future brings, but we do know that we can make choices, and that we can spread kindness in the world, and we can be kind to ourselves. So thanks so much for doing that with me today. And if you're able, go to Mercy Men's on Facebook, like us and follow us. We'll be posting a lot more. Share with your friends, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.